This video focuses on rectangular prisms in terms of surface area and volume. What we're looking at here on the left-hand side is something called a net. A net is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional object. So that if this three-dimensional object, which is a rectangular prism, if this were unfolded, it would look like this. Let's take a look. We have a long side here of a rectangle, two rectangles, three rectangles, four rectangles. And if you can imagine this, there would be four sides here. This represents the top, and this represents the bottom, which we don't see yet, but we will see later on. So the surface area is simply covering, how much does this area cover? If we were going to wrap this as a present, wrapping paper, what is the minimum amount of wrapping paper would we need in order to cover this rectangular prism without overlapping? Since we're given square units here, all we need to do is count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 units in this rectangle. There will be 10 units in these other three rectangles as well, because as you can see, it is a 5 by 2 area. So we'll have 10 here, we'll have 10 here, and 10 here. To find the surface area, all we need to do is to add these up. 10, 20, 30, 40, 44, 48. 48 square units. Now, when we're considering volume, we use a different word. We use the word cube or cubic because we're talking about a three-dimensional object. We want to know how many cubes fit in this rectangular prism. How many cubes would fit into this rectangular prism? In a sense, we could figure this out by looking at the net. We have 4 units that are considered on the bottom. If we had 4 units on the bottom, let's take a look. 4 units on the bottom. Try to make that a little bit better. There we go. Okay. 4 units on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 units on the bottom. How many layers are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. So there are 4 units on the bottom, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. 4 units per layer times 5 layers will be 20 cubic units. 20 cubic units. Now, we don't have to make up a net to determine the volume. If we are given dimensions, we can solve for the volume without having to go through the net process here. There's a formula for the volume. Let's see if we can discover it here. If we had 5 layers times 4 units, we know our answer is going to be 20 cubic units. If we're given dimensions, what would we need to do to these 3 numbers in order to get an answer of 20? I think what we would need to do is multiply these 3 numbers together to get an answer of 20 cubic units. So if we went ahead and multiplied these together, 2 times 5 times 10, I think we'll get 20. The formula for volume is considered to be length times the width times the height. Here we have a length of 2, we have a width of 2, and we have a height of 5. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And we are back with 20 units, 20 cubic units. So now we can figure out the volume for a rectangular prism will be length times width times height.